What's up, guys? I'm back with another video, and today I'm just gonna be continuing to talk about teams that I'm interested and excited for this next season. I did two of these already. This is my third one, and I'm probably gonna do two more before the season actually starts up, and we can talk about the season itself. But this video, I'm gonna be talking about the Golden State Warriors, who is just another team that I'm very, very excited to watch play basketball. And you know, I think that people take for granted. This is a thought I've had a lot. It's just like people take for granted how good the Warriors were and how good for the league the Warriors were when they had Kevin Durant on that team and a healthy Klay Thompson. Like, that team has as much hate as they got and as much hate as Kevin Durant himself got, and all of that. They were so good for the league because they provided a constant narrative and a constant storyline of who was going to be the team to beat them. And the Rockets literally came this close. They weren't invincible. They proved it. They lost last year, 2 years ago, technically. Obviously, they had a lot of injuries, but they did lose. And before that, the Rockets literally came this close to beating them. They missed 27 straight threes. Like, if they had made two of those, they could have won the series. So, the Warriors just during that run were so fun to watch for the real basketball fans that understand the game. It's just like when you have an offense that clicks that well and a defense like the Warriors were good on every level. They were good in the open court, they were good in the half court, they were fast paced, they moved the ball, they played excellent defense. It was just so fun to watch. And I think that we've missed that as basketball fans. We've missed that Warriors offense, and yes, they're gonna miss Kevin Durant, and again, sadly, they're gonna miss Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala and all those guys that were part of that historic team. But they're not gone. They're still here. And as long as you have a core of Steph, Klay, and Draymond, and obviously Klay is going to miss this year, but as long as you have those guys, you're in contention because those three work together so well and are so good that it's just like you can never count those three out in any situation. But obviously they're going to be missing Klay Thompson this year, who suffered another catastrophic injury similar to DeMarcus Cousins last year, who tore his ACL after tearing his Achilles. Now Klay Thompson tore his Achilles after tearing his ACL. And so, it sucks. It's just like Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, John Wall, those are those type of guys where it's like when they're not playing basketball, you can feel it. You can feel them missing, right? It's just like when you're watching Nets games or Wizards games or Warriors games last year where Steph and D'Angelo were running in the backcourt. It was like, I miss Klay Thompson because this team would have been so much better with him. Or I miss Kevin Durant because look at where the Nets could have been if they had a healthy team. And those are those type of guys that you just, when they're out, it just hurts, right? Because you know how good that team could have been with them. And it sucks that we're gonna miss Klay Thompson again this season. But the one thing I will say about Klay Thompson's injury is that we've seen this injury happen to other guys, including Kevin Durant, DeMarcus Cousins, Kobe Bryant, in the past few years. And those are guys that oftentimes rely on their athleticism. And Klay Thompson's not a guy that relies on his athleticism whatsoever. Like, he's a straight up shooter, catch and shoot. Like, that's his game, right? And yes, he dunks every once in a while, but he doesn't need to do that. He barely puts the ball on the floor. He had 60 points and took like 11 dribbles. Like, that's the type of guy Klay Thompson is. So I think that's good for him, the fact that his game doesn't rely on his athleticism. And this type of catastrophic injury to an Achilles can really take a huge effect on guys that do rely on their athleticism. And we saw it with Kobe. Rest in peace towards his end of his career, like in the 2013 season, 2014 season where he tore his Achilles, he was never the same. And I'm hoping that's not the case with Kevin Durant. And it's looking like it may be the case with DeMarcus Cousins also, although he had his moments with Golden State here and there. But again, Klay Thompson's also not old either. He's not 35, he's 31 years old. So this injury is, yes, it hurts for this season. But he's going to be back, and this is just a minor setback for him. I think he's going to be just fine when he comes back, and he'll be the same Klay Thompson that we know and love. And so that's that. But now moving on to the actual Warriors that we're going to see this year, and we're going to see Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Draymond Green, and James Wiseman That's probably going to be their starting five. And when you look at that lineup, I think that they're going to be one of the most fun teams to watch in the NBA, just because the Warriors run a system where it's just every year they have fast-paced, fun, high-intensity offenses. And the guys that they brought in this year are no different. They don't you know, they're not outliers to that system, right? James Wiseman's a center that is not a typical big, but he runs the floor so well. He can protect the rim and shot block, but he's so fast. Like, he beats his guys off the dribble. He beats his defender off the dribble a lot, and that's a thing that the Warriors have never had at the center's position, right? DeMarcus Cousins, Andrew Bogut, Festus Ezeli, Mo Spates. These guys were not beating their defender off the dribble. They were basically decoys and great passers for their position, which James Wiseman isn't. So that's the one thing about him that may not fit so well with the Warriors, but in the open court, when you have him and Draymond and Steph and Andrew Wiggins, like, that type of fast-paced offense is going to click so well. And I love that draft pick for them, because I don't see another player that they could have taken who would have fit their team at the moment so well. And I know when you're drafting, you're not really thinking about fit. You're thinking about talent and who's going to be the best player, in the future. But for the Warriors, who are a contending team, and that's where they want to be contending, they kind of have to think about fit. And so James Wiseman, I think, was the best fit for them at the number 2 pick, and I think that he was a great pick for them, and he will come in and impact them right away. Then they brought in Kelly Oubre, which I think was a kind of an underrated trade, in my opinion, because Kelly Oubre, first of all, is not a journeyman type of guy. Like, he's not a bum. He's not a scrub. Kelly Oubre is a very quality basketball player, and he's the type of guy that runs the floor well. He's high intensity. He can shoot. He can play defense. He's not great on the defensive side, but he can play defense, and he has been improving on that side of the ball also. And Kelly Oubre is just, like I said, he's a high-intensity guy. He's not afraid to get in your face, and that's the type of culture that the Warriors want. They have Draymond Green, who's very similar in that sense, and I think those two will mesh very well together. And, Steph Curry's still there, You remember that guy? Yeah, Steph Curry has just been forgotten, to be honest, the NBA is what have you done for me lately type of league. And, in the playoffs, in the bubble, we saw guys like Nikola Jokic, Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler step up and have great performances. But, I've seen comments of people saying that Damian Lillard is better than Steph Curry. And I'm like, do you, not remember, 2 years ago where they played each other in the Western Conference Finals and Steph Curry took their heads off? It's crazy to me, but people are forgetting how good Steph Curry is, and we said it last year when KD was out, and unfortunately Steph got hurt, but people were saying that Steph Curry was going to have a crazy MVP season because he's going to be the guy, he's going to be the one to score. And this year, barring any injuries and COVID, because that's always there, if this team stays healthy, I think that Steph Curry could have one of his best seasons of his career, because he's so good. It's not much you can do as a defense to prepare for Steph Curry. And by himself with no KD, and he's not gonna have to share the ball as much. I think he's gonna have one of his best seasons. And another thing they did last season was trade D'Angelo Russell and acquire Andrew Wiggins, and I think that was a great trade for them, because D'Angelo Russell, as good as he is, I love D'Angelo Russell, but him and Steph Curry don't fit together, and that's why Klaythompson does fit so well with Steph Curry, is because he's a great defender. Klaythompson is a guy that can give you 60, shoot the ball literally as well as anybody to ever play the game, and lock up your best player. D'Angelo Russell is great offensively, but he is not good defensively. Him and Steph Curry, that's a terrible combination in the backcourt when you're talking about defense. And that's why, like I said, Klay Thompson complements Steph Curry so well, and that's why they're going to miss him again. But I think that them making that trade to bring in a better defender, not a great defender, but a better defender in Andrew Wiggins, is going to be a bit of a difference maker. And yeah, they're missing a lot of depth. That's the one thing that I will say about the Warriors. They're not a deep team this year. Off their bench, they have guys that can shoot it. Jordan Poole, Damian Lee. They got big men off the bench that are very quality players as well, in Marquise Chris and Kevon Looney, if he's healthy. And they also have Eric Pascal, who's a very young, talented player who reminds me of Draymond Green in the sense that he's a playmaker. He can score. He can shoot the ball a lot better than Draymond can. He's physical, high intensity as well. And I think that Draymond being, fully invested this season, because we all know, like I said, last season was a wash for them. And nobody really cared in that organization. Steve Kerr was letting the assistant coaches coach the games. Draymond Green was like sitting out randomly here and there. But him being fully invested, I think he'll help develop Eric Pascal into a formidable sixth man for that team. And I think over time we may see him in a greater role. But yeah, so that's really all I have to say about the Warriors. I'm very excited to watch them play. And I think people have forgotten how good Steph Curry and the Warriors offense and the Warriors system is, no matter who's in it. And I think that this year they're going to, literally, this is my opinion, if they click, if their entire team clicks and they play to their peak, I think that they can be as high as a 4 seed. And I've seen people say that they are going to be like a cusp playoff team and that they're going to be like on the bubble. But I think that if they click, they can be as high as a 4 seed. So that's what I'm expecting from them. But I'm just looking forward to watching them play basketball is all. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. But I'll be back. My next 2 videos, I'm going to do the same thing for like 2 other teams, but I haven't figured it out yet. But yeah, that's really it for now. So until next video, peace.